I want to show you how to prevent a button or field from being printed when the user goes to print a specific PDF. At the bottom of this file, and this is the Nautilus Travel Job Description -print complete file, what I'm going to do is save this, and I'm going to save it as prevent print. So now that I have it saved, because it's already got the print form button, let's take a look at how to prevent this button from showing up if the user prints the form, and we're going to accomplish that using JavaScript. There are some times when you will want to use JavaScript to set that property, because then you can control when it's actually being used. So let's open up the print form button and take a look at what's inside it. Right now, I have this set up to actually print, but it's going to automatically print without a dialog box, a cancellation for the user, and it's going to fit it to a piece of paper. What I'm going to do is add some additional instructions, and I'm going to create a variable to do it. So I'm going to create a variable. I'll name it do not print, and I'm going to set it equal to this.get field with a semicolon. Now, within this get field method, what we're doing is telling JavaScript to go out and locate a field within our form. And the way we tell it which field is to put in double quotes the name of the field we want JavaScript to find. So I'm going to put print. Now the next piece we want to take a look at is we need to give it some instructions, because that line only tells JavaScript go and find this particular button. Now we need to tell it what to do with it. And we're going to say do not print dot print equals false. So that basically says do not allow this to print. So let's click OK, close it up, and I'm going to go over to the hand and let's check it out. I'll click the print button. It says it's trying to print, do you want to allow this? I'll go ahead and say no. Now if you notice, the print dialog box did not pop up, and that's because I've told it in the previous statement not to do that. So let me modify that. I'll double click the button once again to go out to the JavaScript, click Edit, and the reason the dialog is not popping up is because of this. So what I can do is set that to true instead of false, and at least I'll get the dialog box popping up. The reason I want that is because there's a preview within that dialog box, and it comes in handy when you're doing things like testing this type of feature. So I'll click on this. The dialog box pops up, but notice my form field is still showing. So there's a problem in my code. Let me go take a look at it. And first of all, I want to test the regular properties for this form. So let's look at the JavaScript within this area. And one of the things that could have gone wrong is maybe the form field is not named print. It has to be that exact name. So I'll go over to the General tab and take a look. That's exactly what it is. So I'll reduce that down to exactly match what I have in my JavaScript for this form field, and let's see if that fixes the issue. So I'll click the print form button. The dialog will pop up, but notice my button is still showing. So I'll cancel out of that. What could be the problem? And I'm going to make this button a little bit smaller. It's awfully huge right here. And I think while I'm in the properties, I'm also going to change the font to a different, lighter version. And I'll go out to Calibri, and that matches just a little bit. And let me drop it down in size for the text as well. Now, I know my print button is named Print Now, and you want to make sure there's no extra spaces whatsoever within that area. So let me go out and figure out in the actions. Let's take a look. Now, the sequence of this JavaScript is send it to the printer with the print dialog, then I want to hide the button if it's being printed. That might be the wrong sequence. So let's delete this. And what I'm going to do is put it after we've hidden the button. So the idea is if I'm triggering the print command, I don't want the button to show. Let's see if that makes a difference. And I'll go ahead and go back to the hand. I'll click the button. The dialog pops up. And guess what? We don't have our button being printed. You can see it's not showing up in our dialog area. So you do have to pay attention to this sequence of events when you're working in JavaScript. It isn't necessarily your code that's a problem. It may just be the sequence. We want to tell it not to print the button before we actually trigger the print command. Otherwise, it won't know it's supposed to hide the button, so it keeps showing it. I'll go ahead and leave it in the sequence. It's working correctly, and we now have a print form button that shows up on the screen for the user, but if they go to print this form, that print button is hidden to the user. And we did it all using JavaScript.